You're going to love her. Start clapping now for the wonderful Eliza Butler.
Oh my gosh, that's right, Capricorn. Bjorn and Todd are Aquariuses, so we don't like them. No, I'm just kidding. So Bjorn and I were not here last week. We were actually on a little tour with Todd and Bjorn's fiance, Paul, which was a lot of fun. We went up to Montana. But when I was asked to be on the tour, I had to really give a lot of thought. I was like, I'm going to be in a car with 3 men for 5 days. And I need to know if they are planning on hotboxing that car with farts, you know. Because if they are, I need to start practicing. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's feminism, ladies. That's equality. But luckily we made it through without any of those. But I like traveling, but I hate flying. Anyone else hate flying? Yeah. Well, I hate flying. I'll tell you why. Every time I fly, I get pulled out for extra screening from the TSA. And last time that happened, I was like, oh, that's so weird. That's my, I'm complying voice, you know? That's my, please don't take me to the secret room voice. I was like, it's so weird. I always get pulled out. And I guess the lady took pity on me, and she's like, well, when you have extra here, we just have to make sure everything is okay. Yeah. That's when I learned that my FUBA is so powerful, it scares the government. So, yeah. Do you know how affirming that is? I was like, give us back abortion or I'm going to let her out, you know? Yeah. I mean it too. How do we feel? I think I might know the answer to this, but how do we feel here about student loan forgiveness? Are we fans? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I am in favor because I went to art school. Yeah, and it's not my fault the government made a bad bet, you know? I feel like anybody could have told you that was not going to be a good return on investment. Yeah. Art school is like giving a toddler a jackhammer. Yeah, something's going to happen, but you are not going to want to pay money for it, you know? Oh, are we having a good COVID? I know it's still happening, right? Technically. Well, I was thinking about it, and do you remember at the beginning everyone got all these new hobbies? You know, they're like, I'm making sourdough. All right. Or I'm learning French. And it's like, calm down, Brent. You know, all that's going to happen from that is every time I see you, I'm going to be like, ho. You know, you're not going to happen. But yeah, I didn't do any of those things. I didn't even clean out my closet that whole time, you guys. Not even once. I don't know if you remember at the very beginning, you'd order something online, it would take forever to get ordered. And I ordered a bunch of puzzles because I was like, that seems like something to keep my mind busy. But by the time they arrived, I was like, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. So now I just have a bunch of unopened puzzles that I'm going to move with me for the rest of my life is basically the plan. Oh, but the good thing about that is now I know for sure I'm never going to be a better person. So I had all the time in the world, and I did not carpe one single diem that whole time. I did, though. I did find out a couple of years ago that I have ADHD. Anyone else? Yeah. Statistically, some of you guys just don't know yet. So, but it was really interesting to find that out as technically a full-grown adult, I guess. It put a lot of things into context. It's why I'm always just driving as fast as I can down I-5 with an empty tank of gas, you know? Yeah. Or why I forgot to pay taxes for 3 years in a row. Yeah. But it turns out that medications have a side effect that I'd never heard about before. Maybe you guys already know about this. You guys seem cool. But you can figure out if your friends are cool. It's super easy. So instead of telling your friends I have ADHD, you just say, I'm on Adderall. Yeah. And then you see who gets really worried and who thinks they have a new plug. So very, very simple. I did think I should probably reach out to my ex-husband and tell him it wasn't all his fault I was so bored in bed. Just mostly, you know? Just mostly. So yeah, I did get divorced a few years ago, and was the sex bad? Yes. But I really did think everything else was going okay, and he thought it would be fun to try to have an affair. So, yeah, no. It's okay. The important word in that sentence is try. Yeah, he asked someone out, and she said no. which he told me in front of a witness, by the way. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And call me old-fashioned, but I just feel like if I were like legally bound to another person and I asked someone out and they said no, I would never tell another living soul. You know? Be like, I guess this is just two unhappy people in one horrible situation until someone's dead, you know? Yeah. I didn't know I had such traditional family values until that moment. Yeah. And if you don't know what I mean by that, your grandmother was very unhappy. I'm so sorry to tell you. So sorry to tell you that. But yeah, so I was married for a pretty long time, so I had to start going out and doing like the dating apps and things like that. And I think dating, yeah, thank you. That is the correct response. Absolutely. Yeah, she's just like, nope, no. But I do think as a woman in comedy, I have some particular challenges because I think most people dating is like not their favorite thing. If it is for you, keep it to yourself. I don't want to hear about it. And I'm like, oh, it's so easy and fun. I'm so likable. Some of us are trying, all right? But as a woman in comedy, I have the particular challenges. I get 3 responses when men find out I do this. The first response are the men who just don't think women are funny. Like, oh, women aren't funny. Women aren't funny, bro. Women aren't funny, bro. I don't know. They're just against the laws of nature. I don't know. They're just not funny. What, are they going to wear pants next? I don't know. So for those guys, I'm always like, well, here's a list of open mics. I will be happy to see you out there. Yeah. They never take me up on it, though. It's just always a guy who knows more lines of Anchorman than any of his friends. I see some of you are familiar with this type. Another reaction I get are the men who call me intimidating, which I will translate for you. That means, how am I supposed to systematically destroy your self-esteem when you do it yourself all the time for free? There is no man powerful enough to neg me harder than a silent crowd. It's just not gonna happen. It's just not gonna happen. And then the third reaction I get are the men who are afraid that I'm gonna get up here and make fun of them. And I am absolutely gonna do that, 100%. Yeah, I will take the blame for that part of it. Like just before I did my first comedy show ever, the guy I was seeing ended things, and I was like, I don't know if this man is brave or stupid if he thinks I'm not gonna get up on stage and tell everybody he does this when he comes. Like, buddy, what are we celebrating? It is not a race if only one person finishes. You know what I mean? It's just not. Oh, but sometimes I wonder, I'm like, okay, who's like my next partner gonna be like, have I met him yet? I don't know. Like, I start wondering these things because that's what happens when you're single for a long time. You're like, who will it be? But then I was like thinking about it, I was like, what happens if you fall in love and then you find out he is the kind of guy who makes comments on porn sites? Ooh, what would you do? Oh my God, I don't know. I just have a lot of feelings about these. Like, it's always like, these are the responses, you know, because I've done some research. It's always the guy who's like, oh, she's so hot. Yeah, dude, you're watching. Like, we assumed on the view count, you know, that was taken care of, right? Or the men who are like trying to shoot their shot with the women in the video. It's like, oh, just like, you should email me. Oh, she's not gonna email you, dude. Like, can you imagine though meeting someone that way? It's like, how'd you meet your husband? Well, he told me he really liked my pussy on video. Like, it's like, it's not gonna work. It's just so much worse than being like Tinder. I think, like, you know, it used to people would like lie and they're like, oh, we met at a bar, but it was really Tinder. Now it's like, we met on Tinder, but it was really Pornhub. You know what I mean? But the one that really pissed me off are the guys who are like, oh, it's a bad angle. What the fuck are you talking about? Who let Quentin Tarantino out of the foot fetish videos? He's loose. No, it's just like, I'm sorry. Like 50 years ago, men would be lucky to see 6, maybe 7 titties their whole life. Their whole life. You know what I mean? Like, it's either like they maybe were in a few relationships or they knew that weird tree down in the woods just to see if there's like new porn by that tree. Like, that's as good as it got. And now there's like every titty you ever want to see, every type, they're all on there. He's like, oh, I feel like the camera was fuzzy. Shut up. Shut up. I have a lot of feelings about this. They shouldn't have let people put comments on porn sites. I'm sorry, that was a mistake. That was a mistake. Oh, it's so dumb. Okay, how do we feel? Does Portland like life hacks? Do we like life hacks? Yeah. Okay, first of all, I think life hack is such a funny thing. It's like, life is hard, let's hit it with an axe. You know what I mean? It's such a funny name. But I found a new one. So if you're ever having a day where you're like, I really just need to, by the end of this day, feel like I've gotten something done, super easy, just have anal before noon. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate you. I'm sorry, for the rest of the day, you're gonna be like, I really got something done today. I am so accomplished. Now, this is true after that situation happened. Like, so at night, I look at screens all day for work, and so at night, sometimes my eyes are really tired, and I really have to work to focus, like if I'm driving. I swear to you guys, 5 days after that, my eyes were fine. Absolutely fine. Yeah. Millennial learns new trick to kill glasses industry. And it's just early bird anal, you know? But after that, after I realized the miraculous change in my eyes, I was telling the gentleman in question, I was like, I might need a top up. And so, yeah. So I did get a top up, but it was at night and it did not last as long. So it really has to be before noon to fix your eyes. I learned that this week. Oh my goodness. So the other day I was reading a review of a park in my neighborhood, because I obviously have a very rich inner life. And most of the reviews were just like, it is a park, which, thank you for sharing. Like, obviously I read too many internet comments, I get it, but there was one review that really stood out to me. There was a guy who was very angry that in 2023 in Portland, Oregon, that adults were smoking weed. I know, I was as shocked as you guys are. But he said something really interesting. He said they should have a helmet to keep the smoke to themselves. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he just invented something pretty fucking cool, actually. Yeah. I just feel like it would have so many uses, you know? Like maybe you're gonna take a ride in the backseat of a convertible. You might want to keep your smoke to yourself. Maybe, well, probably not this crowd because there's only you. You're the only one with with kids. But parent-teacher conference, probably you want to keep your smoke to yourself. Maybe you have a bail hearing in the morning. I don't know. I don't know your life, but I think probably if you're on the courthouse grounds, you might want to keep it to yourself. So I'm taking the Hotbox helmet. That's what I'm calling it, the Hotbox helmet. I'm going to take that on Shark Tank next week, so I think Mark Cuban's going to be into it. Like, hey, sharks, you ever been to a park? It's going to sell itself. I think so. But I have a question. Like, I do have a question for this guy. And the question is, why are you so mad? So I have two theories. My first theory, he used to smoke a lot of pot. He can't anymore, and now he's just jealous. Right? My second theory is, like, we know that nature, our potheads are nature's most, like, born engineers, right? Yeah, we got one. Well, it's like, who else looks at an apple and is like, I can make that work? You know what I mean? Yeah, so I think that this guy is just a natural-born pothead engineer, and every time he tries to invent something, he finishes it, and he stands back and he goes, oh my God, another fucking bong. I think he just thwarted. That park is interesting, though. So not long ago, I was out across the street from the park. It was a beautiful day, 12 noon, bright sunshine. And there were two trees that are approximately as far apart as these lights. In between those trees, there was a man standing, and I do a double take when I see him because he is pissing. Yeah, and he sees me do a double take, and he goes, sorry, ma'am. And I'm like, what in the fuck is going on? That this guy's gonna call me ma'am? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? I spend too much money on Botox for a man with his dick in his hand to call me ma'am. I am so sorry. I am so sorry. I think I should write a review. What do you guys think? Yeah. It's important that people know what happens here. All right. So I figured out, like, DNA testing kits, 23andMe, things like that. Those are for white people who are secretly afraid they're boring. Which is exactly why I took the test. And I found out I am 98% boring. Yeah, literally 98% Northwestern European, which is not something that I'm proud of. Mostly just disappointed that my ancestors weren't even, like, a little bit adventurous. Like, not even one fucking Italian, you guys? All right. Yeah, but the DNA does not lie. I learned that from America's best science educator, Maury Povich. Yeah, I see some of you are like from a Price is Right family. You stay home from school. All right. There's probably clips on YouTube, I'm guessing. It's like you'll find out who is or is not the father is what will happen. Those tests are interesting. They can tell you different traits about yourself. Like mine says likely to be able to smell asparagus pea, which is true. Yeah. So I don't know if you know this. It always smells. So if you're like, mine doesn't smell, yeah, it does. You just don't have the gene. So happy Easter. It says likely to not like cilantro, which is unfortunately also true. It tastes like soap, and I am terminally white, obviously. But the one that really gets me is the one that said likely to have at least a little bit of a unibrow. First of all, I know. I've been waxing that bitch since I was 14. I know where she lives. Second, did my mother write that? The next one said refuses to give me grandchildren. So I think she hacked in, is what I think. I think she learned how. But the test also said I have more Neanderthal genes than most people, which again is interesting, but I don't really know what that means. I don't feel like my unibrow is particularly sloping. And at this point, I am pretty sure I know how fire works. Like, I think I've got it down. But I do like cave paintings and having my hair pulled, so I don't know. You tell me. So if we ever get like a real apocalypse, I know that I'm going to die in the first wave of people. I know that, and I am fine with that. First of all you'd have to do is break my glasses. Yeah. We're going to have a real Velma from Scooby-Doo situation on our hands, you know? And we like trying to plant the kale patch, like squinting. I'm going to fuck it up. Everyone's going to get mad at me. Like, Eliza, why aren't your kales sprouting? I don't know. I also think the apocalypse has a lot of difficult physical tasks, and I am very obviously an indoor cat. Yeah. I get all of my food delivered, and I will scratch you if you touch me wrong. So, yeah. No, don't be sad. Don't be sad. It's fine. It works for me. It's all good. So I think, yeah, the apocalypse has a lot of hard physical tasks, and I have never in my life felt endorphins from exercise. I thought it was a scam by Big Peloton, is what I thought. Like, that sounds fake. Then I started getting tattoos, and I was like, that's why those assholes never stop running. All right, I get it. Love that for you, but it's not happening for me. So they're going to be trying to, like, raise a barn or something. I don't know what you do when there's no electricity. And I'm going to be hiding in the woods. Everyone's going to be mad at me again. I really do think the apocalypse is just everyone's pissed off at me. That's what I think. But most of all, the apocalypse does not seem fun. Like, my favorite thing in the world to do is to lay in my bed and eat gluten-free pizza rolls I made in an air fryer while I play Candy Crush. Yeah, I agree with you guys. That's a very cool hobby. That's right. Yeah. But there are a lot of things in that sentence that are not going to be possible if the shit really hits the fan, you know? Like, best case scenario for me in the apocalypse, some traveling warlord is going to want a court jester with big naturals. And then going the rest of my life being like, my jokes are up here. I don't want it. So if things really do fall apart and you're running somewhere with your lovely endorphins and you look down and you see me in a ditch, just leave me, please. I'll be like, that's what she would have wanted, you know? Fine. All right, I'm going to end with this story. So I mentioned earlier I'm divorced. Anyone else ever get divorced so hard you start questioning your sexuality, or? Yeah. All right, Portland. I thought you were cool, but okay. My thought process was I've never had a crush on a woman, but after how that went, I should probably see if I have some options, you know? But I also know lesbians really do not like it if they feel like straight women are experimenting with them. One time I was talking about this and a lady was walking right here and she goes, "We don't!" And I was like, oh my God, wait till the end. Maybe I'm one of you now. You have to hear the whole story. So it became pretty clear to me though that my only ethical option would be to have a threesome. So, all right, Portland. Okay, whatever. I go away for 5 days to Montana, and Portland's like, I don't know about that. You guys have changed. And there's a certain kind of man who gets very angry. He's like, women can have sex whenever they want to. Like, he's like Rumpelstiltskin, like, it's not fair. And it's important for me that those men know that that also goes for threesomes. Yeah, any woman in here, you can be a threesome in an hour. Now I'm going to tell you how right now. So take notes. So what you do is you go on your dating app of choice and you put a unicorn emoji in your profile. That does not mean you're into Dungeons and Dragons, even though I'm pretty sure those people are constantly having threesomes. That's the vibe I get. But it's just not my target market. I don't know how to break in. Just very different definitions of role play, you know? But the unicorn emoji means that you're a single woman who's willing to sleep with a couple. So you put that in your profile and you watch those matches roll right in. Yeah, pretty invariably, very hot woman, man in a fedora. Yeah. And then you pick the least offensive fedora. At least that's what I did. So I connected with this couple and we made some plans, but first I insisted the wife take me on a little walk-around date at the bookstore, because I'm a lady. And I don't want to get murdered. So, but it was like 20 minutes of walking around and pointing at things and like, I've also seen RoboCop too, you know, like, which is not true, but it's, you know, you don't want to like have conflict right before the threesome, I don't think. The first one was better. Like, it's just like, yeah, I saw it. All right. But after like 20 minutes, I was like gathering my courage. I'm like, all right, okay, Eliza, let's do this. So we go back to their place, and the first problem happened when she wouldn't kiss me, and I was like, I did not know that this threesome was going by Pretty Woman rules. So I know some of you might be too young for that reference. So back in the 80s, there's a movie where Julia Roberts played a sex worker who wouldn't kiss clients on the lips. And then she met Richard Gere, who was considered handsome at the time. At the time, and a whole movie's worth of shenanigans ensued. At the end, they kiss, and that's how you know it's true love. And that's also how you know the 80s were a very dark time. It's not. And to be clear, I was not looking for true love in this threesome. I just felt like, lady, you just watched me slobber on your husband's hog for what felt like half an hour. Like, whatever I got, you are getting. I'm so sorry to be the one to tell you about this. And the second problem happened when I got like face to like situation, you know? You know. Yeah. In that moment, realized not into women even a little bit. Yeah. The nice lesbian from earlier in the joke was right to yell at me. She was correct. But you know what? I did get the job done. I did. So that's fine. People clap for that. But you guys are, you know, you guys are built different. It's fine. It's fine. I was telling that joke here a couple of weeks ago, and afterwards, I hope she's not here, this lady came up to me and she's like, oh my God, I loved your threesome joke so much. Like, they didn't get it, but I got it. And at the same time, she was doing a full-on tit grab. And I was like, I don't think you got it. I don't think you understood. Anyway, Bangerz, I love you so much. Thank you so much for being here. I'm Eliza.